Hey everybody, this is Josh,
And this is Dean.
and here we are again with another installment of Dean and Josh Write Fiction, Finding an Agent. And we're going to start off again by asking people to like and subscribe and leave us a comment. And then we're going to go ahead and jump into what Dean and I have been up to. And I think we're going to start off with Dean this week. Dean, what's been going on?
Well, I got a rejection letter for the Matriarch's novel in the mail. It was self-addressed stamped envelope, so that's how I know it was one of the ones that I sent out, the paper query letter. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you can see that, the date on there is May 14th of this year. So this apparently got bounced around in the mail for the past, 4 or 5 months. That's a long time.
Well, that's probably understandable though, because did that letter come from the other side of the world?
Well, yeah, that's the ironic part. I won't, well, I don't know if I should reveal. I won't. It's from Dallas. It was an agent in Dallas, and so I'll just leave it at that. I won't give you the address. So I don't want to say who it is. It was a very nice letter, actually. It was, and I'll say what the agent said, which is, thanks for sending along the query for a material from your novel. I don't handle much fiction, and I don't think I can sell it for you, so I have to pass. So basically, I didn't realize this when I sent it to him, but he must be a nonfiction agent primarily, and so he just didn't think he could do anything for me. So it was a very nice rejection letter, but yeah, I thought it was rather funny. Like you said, it's from the other side of the world. No, it's from Dallas, an agent in Dallas.
So the Postal Service had that one kicking around for like 3 months.
Right.
From like 20 miles up the road.
And I suspect that's probably precisely for that reason, probably like their local systems, when you're sending mail to someone locally, I'm guessing they don't know what the hell to do with that because they're so not used to it, would be my guess. But at any rate, yeah, rejection letter that took, it's May, June, July. So 4 months.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that does sound like a pretty good rejection letter, though. Like at least it seemed honest and straightforward.
Yeah. And I think, I don't remember what I sent to him, but maybe he even read part of it and at least maybe liked it. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good deal. Well, on my end this week, I think I mentioned last time that I got a rejection on my story. My story is called Shed, by the way. My story Shed had been rejected by the magazine of fantasy and science fiction. I wasn't totally surprised there because it was dark fiction, and I know they mainly focus on science fiction, and so I know there's kind of a narrow window of opportunity there for dark fiction writers to get in. So wasn't totally surprised that it got kicked back, and I was thankful that it got kicked back pretty fast. It was only on submission with them for about 4 or 5 days, and so it didn't leave me hanging for a long time. So then I started thinking about, well, what am I going to do with the story now? And since I really like the story, and I kind of think that the story has got a good chance to get published. I don't know, maybe that's just my subjective view, but I like the story pretty well. So I kind of wanted to send it out again and see if, maybe I could get it picked up somewhere. And I went to one of my favorite aggregator websites that collects like markets that publish dark fiction and horror to see like what type of opportunities were out there, like who's taking submissions right now. And I was very disappointed to find that this outlet that I normally go to was kind of shut down. And I don't know if this was a result of COVID or what have you, but normally where I can go on there and find a few places to submit stories to, there was nothing there. And they basically just said that they're on break and that they may or may not have the website up and running again in the future. So I kind of struck out there. But Dean has talked a lot recently about reading Alfred Hitchcock's mystery magazine.
There it is, folks.
And he's talked about that, and he had read Shed, and he said that he thought possibly it would be a good fit at Alfred Hitchcock's and that I should try it there. So I went and I looked at their submission guidelines and their process and found that I didn't really have to do a lot to reformat the story so that it would be submittable to Alfred Hitchcock's. Most of the formatting work that I had done for a magazine of fantasy and science fiction kind of carried over. So I went ahead and submitted to Alfred Hitchcock's. The downside to that one is that when I went to submit, in the guidelines, it said that it takes 3 to 4 months generally for them to get back to you and let you know whether it's going to be accepted or not. After I submitted it and I got a confirmation email from Alfred Hitchcock's, the confirmation email said that they're backlogged even further and that their current time is actually 6 to 8 months. And so that's a little disheartening, because to have a story tied up for at least potentially up to 8 months where you can't do anything with it, that really kind of handcuffs you, and you just really can't do anything with your work. And this is kind of one of the things that we've talked about in the past, that one of the frustrations that I dealt with my novel Hellbender that eventually led me to self-publishing it is that you have your work tied up for long periods of time with a submission like this, and the odds are really stacked against you. I mean, I know most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to have this story out on submission for 8 months in which I can't do anything with it. I can't submit it anywhere else. I can't publish it myself, so I can't sell it or make any money on it whatsoever. And then at the end of 8 months, I've probably got a 95% chance that it's going to get rejected. And so then that's just going to be 8 months out the window. And so this is kind of the internal struggle, I guess, that I go through when I submit stories, and when I'm trying to get published or trying to find an editor or an agent or whatever it is that I'm working on at that moment. There's just long periods of time where your work is tied up and kind of in limbo and you can't do anything with it. That's a very frustrating feeling. I don't know, Dean, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree that can be frustrating. I think the only thing that we can do maybe on our end is try to put out enough material that you've constantly got stuff out on submission. But I know that can be easier said than done, to turn out that kind of quantity and still have it be quality material.
Yeah, for me it is, for sure, and I know for Dean as well, because when we're, as we've mentioned, we both have law practices, and trying to keep up with doing the legal work and then also trying to do the writing and get the writing out there and get it submitted or get it published or what have you. Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act, and you got to figure out what works for you. And right now, we're working more towards the finding an agent thing, but I think at some point we'll probably take another look at that and see where things stand. So anyway, that's about what I've had going on with me. And Dean, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, I guess this week's going to be kind of short and sweet, and so we're going to sign off for there. Have a good week.
Take care, folks.
Sorry, I got to start over.
I don't know why that's backwards. It's really weird.
Ah, shit. All right.
We'll get better at this as we go, I guess. And
what's going into the sausage here?
There's definitely some reflection off my head. Yeah, I may end up in federal prison.